Everybody knows what December's like in caravan parks or in campgrounds. Usually it's a really busy time of the year, but we avoided all of that. We avoided all the overcrowding, being packed like sardines into a caravan park. We avoided the expense, the noise and the stress of camping up at Christmas time. So what we did is we spent Christmas in a home. We didn't pay anything and we avoided all the chaos. Keep listening to find out how. Welcome to season 2 of Big Lap Chats. And what you can expect this year is more of the same of last year. Me interviewing guests that are either on the road doing their big lap or have done a big lap or two and have that experience under their belts so they can share their hints and tips and experience with you. I just thought it would be a great idea to kick off with how we spent Christmas. This year we weren't at home with family, and that's our first time since we've been on the road that we haven't headed home to one of our kids' homes at Christmas time. What we did is rewind a few months back, and a friend of ours contacted a friend, I might add, who we met on the road in Whyalla. She contacted me. They live in Perth. Their mum and dad lived in the hills at Kalamunda of Perth, and they'd been let down by their dog sitter. So they were desperate for someone to come and look after their little dog Ted, and she thought of us. So we said, yeah, sure, no problems at all. 2.5 weeks, easy peasy. So we did that and we enjoyed it. We enjoyed the space. We enjoyed sort of living in a community. If you've been to Kalamunda, it's a beautiful community up there. Gorgeous setting, really leafy suburb, and lots to see and do in the Perth Hills as well. So that was our first exposure to house sitting. And then Christmas being Christmas and school holidays on top of that, we thought be a great idea to do some house sitting over Christmas. So we joined one of the very many house sitting sites, and I'll pop a list in the blog post and the show notes of the different varieties of house sitting and the ones that we used. So I just thought it might be an alternative for you for, say, next school holidays, or to schedule some time out in from your caravan while you're doing a lap. Naturally, if you are on a time budget, so you only have a certain amount of time, whether it be 6 months, 12 months, or whatever it is for you, it might not be an option. But for those of you that are on extended big laps or travelling full time, it might be just the thing for you. Now, why? Why would we want to do that? Well, it gives you a lot of flexibility, and it also helps with some savings as well. If you are looking to reduce your budget of fuel usage and caravan park fees, if you like camping, caravan parks and so forth, it can really reduce it. And so where was our house sit? Our house sit was on the outskirts of Margaret River, of all places. I know, it's hard, hey, but someone had to do it. And it was an organic farm, in particular an organic chicken farm, where they raised 100 chickens, and they also had Dexter cows as well. Now, the cows looked after themselves. There was a huge dam there, so they just ate their grass and drank the water out of the dam. We didn't have to look after them at all. And there was a beautiful Labradoodle called Diesel. And I've had a Labradoodle before, many, many years ago. And I just think they're the smartest dogs. They're really great companions. And if they're trained correctly, they're very, very intelligent. So we were roughly about 15 or 20 minutes outside of Margaret River. So it was nothing to jump in the car if we needed anything and head into Margaret River to stock up or whatever it is we needed. And our responsibilities, I fed Diesel a couple of times a day, so morning and night. And Kev looked after all the chickens. So he'd hop on the quad bike and go out to where they had a chicken coop that was a movable one for these 100 chickens. So he had to make sure that they were sort of locked up tight for the night. He didn't have to sort of shoo them into it. They naturally went in at dark and roosted. And then in the morning, there was an automatic door that used to open, and they'd off out for the day, like in their field where they were at the time. And then he would collect the eggs 3 times a day. And there'd be anywhere from about 80 to about 100 eggs per day. What happened then, he would have to take the eggs in and clean them up and put them in a little storage shed, and then the farmhand would come along. He used to work there 4 days a week. He'd come along and sort them and get them ready for market. And then another chap used to come around, get their beef and eggs and take them to the Margaret River markets. So that's what our responsibilities were. So not that it wasn't taxing at all. We found it fairly easy, and we had the luxury of staying in a house with a full-size kitchen and a full-size bed and lots of space. This was on, I think it was, the farm was about 185 acres. So we were literally in the middle of nowhere on the outskirts of Margaret River. So that was pretty cool. We really enjoyed it. And it's something that we would consider again, but humans being humans, we're a strange bunch, aren't we? After about a week or so, we were ready to get back in the van and start exploring again. So we were there I think we got there the day before Christmas Eve, and we stayed just until midway through January, maybe a bit later. In that time if we'd have stayed in a caravan park and paid, if we say average, because I doubt whether it'd be any cheaper than $50, but there would certainly be a lot of caravan parks around Australia that would charge more than $50 in that time, December, January. So we saved around $1,350 by house sitting. So the reality of house sitting is that you will, it's not just a free ride. Generally, there'll be some pets to take care of, or maybe the owners want you to do a bit of gardening or water the garden or take the dog for a walk, or there'll be something that you have to do in return. Both the ladies from the house sitting jobs, where we had house sitting jobs, actually made the comment that the house looked cleaner when they got back from their holidays than they did when they left. That was deliberate on my part, that I wanted them to come home. I know what it's like when you come home from holidays. You've got a stack of washing to do, most likely, and you're probably frazzled if you have either travelled interstate on a long drive or you've flown in from, an overseas country somewhere and you've crossed a couple of timelines. The last thing you want to be doing is chores around the house. And it has a nice sense of welcome home and a calming effect as well, I think, when you get back. So, yes, both of the ladies were thrilled. And also, that's mentioned on the house sitting sites, you get a chance to review what you liked about where you stayed, etc. And the owner has the same privilege. So you don't want bad reviews. You want a great review. Now, for peak times and for peak areas, for example, if you look around Esperance, there's no house sitting jobs. I think I've seen one, maybe two in the last 6 months. But that's generally during the winter time, because most people in that part of Australia, which is the southern coast of Western Australia, it gets some pretty nasty weather down there, a lot of rain, a lot of wind, and it's cold. So they probably want to escape to somewhere nice and warm. You can set up alerts. If you wanted to go to a specific area, you could certainly set up an alert for that. Now, if you do want to get started with house sitting, there's a couple of things that you need to do, and that is create a really strong profile and have some photos of maybe you with animals of some sort, dogs, cats, whatever. And then have a look at building up some references. If you've done house sitting before, you can always contact that person and ask for a reference. Maybe it's a private house sit that you've done. And then you can weigh up the membership cost versus the savings. I think our membership was like $80 or something. Well, we've well and truly made that money back, and it's been worth it for us. So some of the benefits, if you're lapping Australia, is that you can beat the peak season crowds like we did. You can take a break from van life and create a bit of space. You can extend your travel budget as well. And you've also got access to, a full-size laundry, kitchen, some Wi-Fi, and a lot of space, depending on the size of the property. Here are some success tips about house sitting. So communicate clearly upfront what it is that you're looking for. Understand all the responsibilities before you commit. So ask a lot of questions if you feel like you need to do that. We also went and met the people on both occasions. So we had a chat. They showed us around their home. They showed us what needed doing, what they wanted us to look after, where the dog food was, all those sorts of things, what was and wasn't expected of us as well. So that was good. You find out where you can store your van, and you can also use that base to explore that area where you are. Some of the red flags that I would consider is if there's unclear expectations, if they keep fobbing you off with, I'll explain that later. I'll explain that later. Poor communication from the owners in the beginning when you're negotiating whether you're going to do this house sit or not. In both occasions, we've had excellent communication with the owners, and even in our Margaret River house sit, even though the owners were overseas and on completely different time, they would always get back to us as soon as they saw our message. So we didn't have any problem with that. And any sort of unreasonable demands, like you have to pay for this and you have to pay for that, like you pay for your electricity and your Wi-Fi, and normally house sitting is a swap of you do this for me and you can stay here free. And then some of the concerns that some people have is, well, what if something goes wrong? On both occasions that we've done a house sit, there has been a list of things, and it's included emergency contacts, insurances. Like, for example, in our Margaret River house sit again, Diesel was fully insured, so if anything happened to him, all the information was left for us, which vet to take him to, and don't worry about the cost because it was all covered. Likewise with our first one, because of our friend that also lived in Perth, and then her brother also lived in Kalamunda itself, we could contact them at a moment's notice if anything went wrong. I can happily report neither of those instances where we did a house sit, anything went wrong. So it was all good. Also, being out of your caravan gives you a fantastic opportunity to give it a deep clean if that's your thing. I did. I pulled a lot of stuff out, dropped about 4 dress sizes over the last year. So I had a lot of clothes that just don't fit me anymore. So I gathered all those up and donated them to the local charities. So it gives you an opportunity to just go through everything. Check the dates on any of your dry goods that you might have in your pantry, those sorts of things. Pulled out all the seats and cleaned in there, and just basically gave the van a good clean inside, which didn't take much at all because I'm pretty onto it most weeks anyway. If you're wondering how to get going, I would say just do a couple of short house sits, maybe 3 days, maybe a week, and just see if you like it or not. You might not like it. I would tend to do that rather than take on a longer sit. For us, we kind of think a week would be sort of bare minimum. We prefer anything from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. It gives you a nice break, and it gives you some time to get things done in that area, maybe get some mail sent to you. We had a lot of parcels sent to us in that time, so it's really great for those sorts of things. Our biggest takeaway from Christmas house sit, just on things going wrong. We did have one thing go wrong, which was completely out of our control, and that was we lost power on Christmas Day. And I really felt for any business in Margaret River or the Margaret River area that was affected by that on that day, because it went off about 1 o'clock. So it's kind of right in the middle of lunch, I guess. And it didn't come back on until about 9:30 at night. But, I mean, that in itself is pretty bad if you own a business and you're serving food and drink. Not only that, it was 40 degrees as well. We had no aircon. We were on a farm, as I've said, and of course, they don't have town water. So you rely on water from the dam, and how does the dam water get to the house? With a pump. What runs a pump? Electricity. We didn't have any electricity, so therefore we didn't have any water either. So fortunately, our van was close by, so it didn't really affect us in any way. We just sat outside under the veranda trying to find a cool breeze, but that was the worst that happened to us. It was completely out of our control. The telegraph pole caught fire, apparently, burnt, brought the wires down, and it took them a while to get a new pole, put the pole up, connect the wires up, and that's why it took so long. Plus, it was Christmas Day. So everyone was very grateful to the guys that went out and fixed that on the day, I'm sure. So our biggest takeaway from a Christmas house set, it was great. I'd do another house set with no problems at all, especially in the busy times, if you can get a house set during those times. Naturally, it's going to be fairly popular, so you'd have to be onto it. So you'd have to get it all lined up fairly quickly, I would say. Give yourself a couple of months before that time that you're looking to house sit. So this week, maybe you'd like to look into one house sitting platform and see if it would work for you or not. Now, the next episode of Big Lab Chats, we're back with another guest, and I recorded this at the end of last year, and because we were sort of pushing way into December, I decided to hold it over for this year. So I'm really excited to bring you that next week. So listen in, and if you want to go back and listen to all of season 1's, you can either go to allaroundoz.com.au/podcast. All the podcasts are there, all the blog posts relating to the podcasts also there, or wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform. We're also on YouTube as well, so you can actually watch the podcast if that's what you prefer. Let me know if you want to contribute to the podcast, or maybe you've got a favorite YouTuber that you follow that you'd like me to interview, or you'd like them to be a guest on the show so you can hear their story and a little bit more about them. Drop me a line at g'day@allaroundoz. And if you are starting out as a caravanning newbie, we have a Facebook group called Caravanning for Newbies. And we also have a Facebook group called Planning a Lap of Australia, Hints and Tips. Lots and lots and lots of fantastic information in that group from our members. And in both groups, I don't tolerate any nonsense whatsoever. Anyone breaking the rules gets booted out really quickly. Any sort of bullying, etc., bad language, I do not tolerate. So I believe I've created a couple of spaces where you can feel comfortable asking questions, no matter how large or small or silly they might seem. So look for those groups on Facebook, and we'll see you in the group. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.